Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first Advocacy Talks of 2024. We're really delighted that you can join us today. Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that this session is being recorded. So if you miss anything and want to watch back, you can find it on the Vision Ireland YouTube channel and also through our website, which is vi.ie. So, I'm sure there's going to be loads of information that you're going to get today, and so you can always find it again if you want to. So today we are very lucky to be joined by Sarah McFadden, who is the Partnerships and Operations Coordinator with Vision Sports Ireland. And she's coming along today to tell us all about what they do and hopefully to get us all engaged and encourage us to get out and about and get active again after the Christmas period. I know I could do with some of that after eating too much chocolate and sitting around too long. So over to you, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks so much, Madeline. Sorry, I had a little bit of technical difficulties there trying to get off mute and reshare my screen, but thanks so much for having me on. Like you just introduced there, my name is Sarah McFadden. I work with Vision Sports Ireland. For anyone who isn't familiar with Vision Sports Ireland, we are the national governing body for blind and vision impaired sport in Ireland. So we merged with NCBI back in March 2020. So it's been a really exciting time to now Vision Ireland. And look, it's great, and our role is to try and provide sport and physical activity opportunities to people throughout the country in a number of different ways. Hopefully my slides change there. So like I mentioned, we want to make sure that people with a vision impairment can participate and be actively involved in sport or physical activity of their choice, and of their choice is really important. I have a vision impairment myself. I know Madeline has a vision impairment. For us, it's really important that we can take part in a sport or physical activity that we choose or that we want to do. So I'll have a number of slides on the screen for the next little while. I will be audio describing whatever's on the screen because I, like pretty much everyone on the call, probably can't see the majority of it. So don't worry if there's something that you can't see. So on the screen at the moment, I have a map of Ireland that has a number of different numbers for each county. So based off the most recent census, that I'm sure some people have heard it, but maybe not everybody, there was 296,601 people who identified as having a vision impairment. So that was a pretty significant big jump since the 2016 census, which including the north of Ireland at 62,810. So a pretty large jump, but for us it's making sure that every one of them 296,600 people have access to physical activity, because I suppose all know the importance of physical activity, and we hear everybody kind of chirping on all the time about getting active and getting out of the house. And myself and Madeline had this conversation just before we came online about having to get up and out of the chair. So I suppose we all know that kind of importance. So for us in Vision Sports, it's trying to make sure that we can provide that opportunity to people. Our ambition and our mission, so this is kind of a more in-depth and techie piece to it, but I suppose what we want to do is make sure that everybody in Ireland has access to, and kind of we aim to leverage new capabilities to make sure that we reach more people who are blind and vision impaired. This is through a number of different things like research, education, collaboration, participation in sport or physical activity. So for us, and I'll go through kind of the main pieces that we do, but for us, we're always trying to find new ways to get people active, new ways to collaborate, new people to collaborate with, new ideas that we can have, and all of that we need to be data-based and make sure that we're giving people what they need. So our team, so there might be a couple of familiar faces. I do have the same top on in that one, but my hair was probably straightened a little nicer on the day. But our team consists of Éireann Milanoff, who most people might be familiar as Chief Services Officer of the Vision Ireland, the new name for NCBI. Éireann is our CEO of Vision Sports as well, because he looks after services. We then have Padraig, who is our National Sports Development Manager. We have myself in Partnerships and Operations, and then I also look after Women in Sport. We have Christina, who looks after our Research and Governance. We have Sean Moyles, who looks after, he's our Aspire graduate at the moment, but we're hoping to have Sean for a little bit longer in the future, looking after all things physical activity. We have Sean Poland, who looks after our education and training. He is education and training coordinator. He looks after a number of different things in terms of sports development, but also all things training, education, resources that we might bring out, anything like that. We then have Anya, who is going to be our new health and physical activity promotion officer. So Anya I'll tell you a little bit about what Anya will be covering at the end of this presentation, because there might be some people on the call who are quite interested. And then finally, we have Rosie, who looks after our marketing and communications. So between us all, we're a pretty busy team. On top of that as well, we also have Michael, who's come in, and Michael's working as an intern from DCU. So he probably got away lightly that I didn't have a picture of him to use in this, but however, he's probably laughing behind me here in the office, but however, it's been great, because we started with a really small team and we're growing to the point that I'm going to have to get a larger PowerPoint slide to fit everybody on it. So we're always here, and that's kind of a quick rundown of the team, but any of the team are always here to support anyone and any questions that they might have. What the team do, so what we do as an organisation, we run a number of different things throughout the year in different formats. So we run a number of key flagship events, programmes, initiatives and training education opportunities for people. In terms of events, so I didn't want to go too heavy on the slides, but the main events that we run in the year are Campabilities, Mayfest, Zero Limits, and then we also kind of added an event called Fit as Families as well. So a little bit of an insight into what each of them is. So Campabilities is a residential camp, so a 5-day, 4-night camp for kids aged 10 to 14, where they do a number of different sports, from kayaking to rock climbing to cycling to football, rugby, whatever it might be. The child gets the opportunity to kind of do that with kids of a similar background, similar age group to them, who have vision impairment. So for some kids, this might be the first camp that they may have attended. It may be the first residential piece that they've attended. Whatever that might be, there's always a big draw into Campabilities. Traditionally, it would have been run by CARA, or now Active Disability. Then it was kind of NCBI, now Vision Ireland, and now it's fallen onto Vision Sports in collaboration with NCBI. So we love Campabilities because it's a little bit of fun, and we get to pretend that we're a little bit younger, but it's a really fun and a really exciting event. And this year's event has taken place from the 25th of March onwards. So we can't wait for it. So for anyone, applications open. For anyone that you might know, applications opened yesterday. So you can find that on visionsports.ie, but I'll have the website on at the end of this as well. Mayfest then. So this is probably something that the majority of everybody on the call today might be interested in. So Mayfest is one of our flagship events in the year. So it's a multisport come and try event. So last year we had 26 different activities added throughout the weekend. It's based in Dublin. So this year, the date for Mayfest, I probably shouldn't admit it on the call today because it's not fully announced yet, but we're hoping to have it on the weekend of May 25th. So it'll be based in UCD, and then the Sunday then event, where we're not 100% sure where that's going to be, but the Saturday event will be in UCD again, as it has been in previous years. We have a number of different activities. So in previous years, we've had GAA, rugby, soccer, cycling, athletics, sailing, canoeing, basically any sport that you can think of that we can put in one location. We've tried it and we've done it. So Mayfest is really, really exciting. Last year we had 390 people attend the weekend. It's a really big event. It always promises to have a really kind of nice social aspect, if it's a case that you want to get active more for the social element, because I know that's probably what the majority of us do want to get active for. We know the importance and kind of the social element of physical activity is probably the most important part of that. So Mayfest is a really good opportunity, and tickets for Mayfest will go on sale around the middle of March. I'm not sure the exact date yet. We haven't it set out, but keep an eye on all of the Vision Sport socials, and there'll be more info on that, because it's a really great event to be part of. And then as part of that weekend, we also have a social event on the Saturday evening, which is less physical activity, more crack and more enjoyment. So we always kind of look at all the different aspects that are involved in physical activity. Zero Limits then. So Zero Limits is my baby of an event in the organisation. So Zero Limits is a motorsport track day in collaboration with Motorsport Ireland and Windsor Motor Group, but it is a motorsport track day like no other. So at Zero Limits, for the first year we had 35, for the second year we had 80, and for the third year we had 120 people who are blind and vision impaired driving around the Mondello Park circuit. So what we can offer people, it's a very, very unique event, and I don't know if some people on the call have done it before. I think Madeline might have. I have. It's a really, really exciting event. In the morning of the event, you get the opportunity to drive a dual control road car with the aid of a driving instructor around the Mondello Park International Race Circuit. So that's very, very exciting. So that's pretty thrilling anyway to start the day. But then in the afternoon of the event, you get the opportunity to step into the passenger seat of as fast a rally car as we can get our hands on. So we people come from both Ireland and England to volunteer their time, their cars, their tyres and their fuel to give you a good spin around the Mondello Park circuit as a passenger. So Zero Limits is a pretty exciting event. It takes place in July every year. So the tickets for that will go on sale in early June. So that's another one of our flagship events. Then our final kind of flagship event in the year, and it's something that's appeared in the last year to 2 years, is Fit as Families. So Fit as Families is a smaller scale, but still a big event that we run in the year. So it is an event based off the Ireland's Fit as Family kind of idea. So we have it in the same place as Ireland's Fit as Families. We have it in Kilruddery House, where this year we had 20 families attend. So they all have a vision impairment, whether it's the parent has a vision impairment or the child might have a vision impairment or maybe multiple of each. And they all come together and you kind of, I say, fight to become Ireland's Fit as Family, but really it's all about the crack and the camaraderie on the day and all the families working together to complete the obstacles and the challenges. For anyone who might be thinking, oh, I don't know if I'm able for that, it's not as difficult as you might think. We can kind of alter all of the sessions to make sure that they're easy to complete, because I don't know about other people, but some of them when I watch the television, I don't know how they can physically do that. But for us in Vision Sports, it's again all about social and all about getting out. So that probably covers the most of the flagship events that we will cover in the year. But then, like I mentioned, we also do a number of individual programs and activities. So in terms of programs and activities that we have, this can be for different age groups. So we may have more for youth versus adult in different ones. So at the moment, we have an athletics program in Portlaoise for youth to kind of young adults, as we would call it. But we're working on developing an athletics program as well in Dublin over the next year. Football, then we have a number of football hubs around the country. So we have one in Portlaoise, we have one in Bohemians in Dublin, we have one in Donaghcarney and Meath. We have a blind football based in Trinity, so that's what we would call B1 football. We then have a B2, B3, so which would be a low vision development Irish squad as well, which train in DCU once every 2 weeks. So there's loads of opportunities in that. Golf, then we have a number of golf hubs around the country with Golf Ireland and Irish Blind Golf. We have one in Portlaoise is probably our main one that we have with Golf Ireland. They train every couple of weeks. I'm not 100% sure, but I suppose, again, if there's anything that you're interested in learning about, we're happy to provide that specific details to anyone who might be interested. Rugby, then, again, I'm a big fan of the rugby because I do play it myself. Vision impaired rugby takes place once a month. So we have one team at the minute based out of Old Wesley and Donnybrook in Dublin. So we're mindful that it's in Dublin, but by training once a month, we try and make it as accessible for people to only to travel that once. So we have players from Tralee, Belfast, Mayo, Cork, basically people kind of make the effort to travel that once, and it's really on a very good public transport line as well. Swimming, then we have a number of swimming programs throughout the country. We have one in Markovich in Dublin, we have one in Portlaoise. We then run kind of different activities, so it'll be included in capabilities or it might be included in other things. So we run tandem cycling as well. So there's a number of tandem cycling groups set up around the country. It's not, I suppose, specific to Vision Sports Ireland, but we do support funding or kind of support the clubs that are running tandem cycling. So there's one in Louth, there's one in Galway, and there's one in Cork, as far as I know, and then Portlaoise are quite good as well. So if it's tandem cycling that you might be interested in addition to the clubs in tandem cycling, Vision Sports Ireland also has a free of charge tandem bike loan scheme. So what we do is we have a number of bikes in stock. Now, there can be a waiting list because we only have a limited number of bikes, but we have a number of bikes in stock that we can loan and deliver to your house free of charge for you and your chosen pilot to ride and to try out to see if it's something that you might be interested in, because we're mindful that the purchase of a bike can be a big decision. So we try and provide people with that opportunity to loan and try out one of the bikes. If it's a case you don't have a pilot or you might be learning now, it's covered a little bit later on, but we have a tandem pilot training course as well where people can learn, which I'll talk about later. Tennis then, so tennis probably is one of our biggest sports at the moment that we have, and it seems to be going down quite well. We had the World Championships last year. Tennis, we have I think 10 or 12 hubs all around the country. So we have Dublin, we have Clare, we have Cork, we have, I'm definitely going to miss a lot, Athlone, we have Naas, we have, we had Waterford, I'm not sure if that's still going, but like we have hubs in a lot of different places. And again, this info can be got on our website, or if you're looking to get involved yourself, we can definitely point you in the right direction of one that might be the closest to you. But there's loads of opportunities in all of the different programs that we have on offer. Unfortunately, and as in an ideal world, we would have a program in every single county and every single town, but we're just not there yet. We're still relatively new as an organisation, or I suppose as the new Vision Sports since we came on board as staff. So we're trying to always develop and get new activities going that maybe weren't there before. So bit by bit we're trying to do it, and we've set up new systems to help us try and find out and decide where we have activities. But if you're wondering if there's an activity in your area, you can go on our website and we have an activities finder with you where you can put in your county. Like I mentioned, we train in education. I mentioned the Tandem Pilot Training course there, so I might jump to that first. So the Tandem Pilot Training course is a course that we developed 2 years back with, well, almost 3 years back now with Ireland Ireland. So what it is it's a course where people can learn to become a tandem pilot. So on a tandem bike, as probably most people are familiar, there's two people on the bike. So you have one on the front and one on the back. The person on the back is known as a stoker who has a vision impairment, and then the person on the front is known as a pilot who doesn't have a vision impairment. So what the aim of the Tandem Pilot Training course is to do is to equip pilots with the information and the confidence necessary to go out and become a tandem pilot. So in that, there is a 2-hour online workshop where you learn all about vision impairment, why it's important to kind of know about vision impairment, why we have to adapt, and then also how you can do it. But then there's also a half-day in-person workshop. Then we run these throughout the country. I'm not sure exactly where the next one is, but again, they're on our website, or we can provide you with the details if you're interested, or you know someone who might be interested. It's a really good opportunity to learn how to do it safely, because it can be a big piece and it doesn't always work for someone to. Some people are gifted to jump straight on the bike and do it, and then some need to learn a little bit too. We then have Vision Sports Awareness Training. So this is something that we developed around 3 years ago to equip coaches, teachers, parents, basically anybody who might be working in the sport, leisure, facility, general sector, to work with someone who's blind or vision impaired. So let's say, like I mentioned, part of our mission is to make sure that everyone can compete in a sport or physical activity of their choice. And for us, like I mentioned, we're not in a position to have an activity in every single place, but what we can do is we can get coaches of your local club that you might want to take part in to come on a Vision Sports Awareness training, and then they might learn what vision impairment is and why it's so important for us to adapt a session to make it accessible, and also how they can adapt a session. So things like changing the bib colour, having more audio description, all of the stuff that we would find quite simple, but sometimes we just need to give people that information and equip them with that knowledge. That is run once every 2 months. All of the dates are available on our website. So if you know anyone that might be interested, or if it's any clubs that you might like to get involved in, you can point them in the direction of taking part in that Vision Sports Awareness training. We also have a guide running workshop as well. So we developed that in association with Athletics Ireland last year. So guide running workshops again take place around the country, and there's a lot of guide running already taking place in the community within the park run setting. Some people may have already engaged with it, or some people may have seen it online before. So guide running basically is where you have someone who guides someone using a tether or a rope or something that they might just be running beside a person with a vision impairment while they're running, or then again sometimes walking. So our course aims to equip guides with the information very similar to the tandem pilot training course, where they do an online workshop, but then they also do an in-person workshop where they go through how they can safely and effectively run with someone who has a vision impairment. And then the final piece that we have is resources. So we're always working on putting out resources for including people with a vision impairment in different sports. So our most recent one was a PE resource. So how PE teachers, both in primary and secondary school settings, can adjust the curriculum to include someone with a vision impairment. We've launched an audio description resource, a vision impaired rugby coaching resource. So we had Robbie Henshaw and Ian McKinley launch that with us. We had David Clifford launch the PE one. So some pretty big sporting names. So we had some really good kind of celebrity or well-known people behind vision sports. Then in terms of resources as well, I know there's a lot coming down the pipeline for this year and what we'll be able to bring out. We've developed a sighted guide training video in collaboration with Possibility Labs and Vision Ireland as well. So we're always busy people, and we're always trying to make sure that we're educating the community on what vision impairment is, but also that vision impairment can be included in a sporting setting in a safe way. We run a number of initiatives then as well throughout the year. So one of our main initiatives, and this is something that if everybody can log into this call, they can definitely log into this if the times work out for them. So that's our home exercise series. So there's a lot of text on the screen at the moment, but I'll be describing it all. And then the right hand side is just a poster that says about the classes. So our home exercise series is a 4 to 6 week block of classes that take place every kind of. They take place relatively close together, so there might be a 2 week block, a 2 week break between them. But during those classes, we would have movement, balance and stretch on a Tuesday morning. We have HIIT fitness on a Wednesday evening. We have yoga on a Thursday evening, and then we've nature-based mindfulness on a Thursday morning as well. So these are they're all delivered online for 40 minutes to 1 hour, depending on the class/instructor. All our instructors are trained by our own staff on how to fully audio describe a class, how to make it accessible to someone. They're completely free of charge, so you can sign up via our website. There's no cost to it. We run these, like I said, for 6 week blocks, pretty close together. So there's definitely kind of 4 to 5 groups of classes throughout the year. So we really recommend that anyone who has the opportunity to do so signs up to give it a go, because sometimes it can be hard to get access. And like I mentioned, where we don't have the opportunity to take part in a vision sports program in our local area, this is a really good option to do so from the comfort of your own home. And I know I'm probably partial because we did get most of them instructors and hire them, but they're pretty nice, and they're all really accommodating around what we might be anxious about. If it's the first time that we've ever taken part in an activity like that, or maybe it's the first time we've ever tried a class online, or maybe again it's the first time that we've just ever tried yoga or ever tried nature-based mindfulness or whatever it might be. So the guys are really good, and we're always happy to take a call if you have any questions on a specific piece of that. We then have a really exciting piece, and it's so new and it's so fresh that I don't even have a poster or a logo to put on this slide, but that is the I Can project. So I mentioned Anya that started working with us. So Anya is going to be taking a lead on our I Can project. So this is something that's going to be coming up over the next couple of months, and we're really excited about it because it's something that we've been working on for a very long time and in a number of different ways, and kind of trying to brainstorm and trying to get the funding around being able to provide it. So the I Can project is going to be a one-on-one intervention. Well, we call it an intervention, but it's going to be a one-on-one 6 week program with someone where you'll meet with Anya, and Anya can help you design in your own kind of wellness or fitness, or basically your own intervention program to try and get you more happy in yourself, but healthy and more active, and kind of not living a sedentary or a kind of a seated lifestyle. So Anya will help you working on things like healthy eating, habit changes, why or what is physical activity, why to be physically active, goal setting, movements and balance, getting involved and the options that are available to people. I know that I probably will be trying to get Anya to answer a few of these questions for me, and maybe setting me up a plan. So I'd hope that the majority of people, to start with, this will be for people aged 50 and above, but we would hope in a few months' time or a year's time that we might be able to start lowering that age. But at the moment, it's going to be based for people who are aged 50 plus. So for anybody who might be interested in that, they can contact us. And like I mentioned, I'll have our email on the screen at the very end and I'll call it out. But for anyone, ICANN is a really good project, and I would really recommend anyone taking that time to meet with Anya. It's only going to be once a week for the 6 weeks, but it can really make a lasting difference in your life. And she's going to provide you with tools that you may not have known or you may not have thought of, or something that just might help you change this very, very small habit that might make you a lot more happy and healthy in yourself. Becoming a member of Vision Sports Ireland. So I've mentioned our members before, and kind of how we kind of try and provide stuff to our members, but how you can actually become a member. So becoming a member is completely free of charge to Vision Sport Ireland. So traditionally there would have been a membership fee, but there now isn't. So it's completely free for anyone who is really good on the tech. And I suppose probably most people on the call, if they are logging into a Teams call, are probably pretty tech literate on the call today. So for anyone who would like to do it via our online service, all you have to do is go to our website, you click support us, a drop down arrow will come up, and then you can click become a member. You can see it on the screen for anyone who might like to zoom it in at the moment. You can see it on the top right where I've highlighted in yellow. It's just a become a member option. It's pretty easy to find. Once you open that, a form will come up. So the form will ask for your basic details, your name, your address, your email address, your date of birth, or that kind of, all the basic stuff they're always filling out on every form that we do. But then at the end of the form, what it'll ask you is a number. It'll ask you to take a number of sport or types of physical activity that you might be interested in taking part in. Again, the reason that we ask this is, like I mentioned, we're trying to find out what activities people want in what locations, so that we can let people know as well what's available. So if I'm filling this out and I say that I'm interested in football and walking and running, I'll then come up on a list so that we can contact you if we have anything in your area, or maybe sometimes we contact you to let you know what's happening in the wider country if it's a case you might want to travel to something. But this information really, really helps us in running programs and making sure that everybody gets what they want in their area, but also it helps us with making sure that we know what the demand is. That does bring me to the end of the presentation. I know I went quite quickly through it because there's a number of slides to get through and there's a lot in them all. So I hope I haven't spoken too quickly, but I know Madeline has a Q&A on the go. So hopefully there's a couple of questions. Even Madeline might have a few that we can bring up. But on the screen at the moment is our phone number. So I'm just going to call it out. If anyone would like to take it down, they can call it. They'll probably get through to myself anyway, because generally the landline is put to my phone. So our phone number is 01 405 6030. So that's 01 405 6030. Or then again, if you'd prefer to email, our email is pretty simple. So it's just info@visionsports.ie. Or then our website, which you might have guessed from our email, is visionsports.ie. So we're pretty easy to find no matter what way you look for us. You can ask for any of the team that you came across before, or you can just ask for myself, and we are more than happy to answer any questions that might come up. If it's a case you have some questions you might have today, that's great. If not, if you think of a question this evening or tomorrow or any other day, we're happy to answer that. Or if you have any kind of things you think might be a good idea for us to offer, whatever that might be, we're more than happy, and we're always at the end of the phone to answer that. So I hope, Madeline, that is everything that you would like me to cover for today.
Well, wow, I think it's absolutely amazing, Sarah. Thank you so much. I think you've covered a wide breadth of information there, and I think it's just amazing to me to just hear how much more Vision Sports is doing. I know we had a presentation from yourselves, I think it was probably just over a year ago, and even since then the levels of things that are happening is just really expanded, and it's fantastic to hear that you can participate in so many different ways, whether that be from your own living room, doing it online, to being involved in the local event, once a week, or whether it be, taking part in these sort of more one-off things, like the Mondello, the racing and all of that. So I think it's just fantastic to see that. And you've kind of touched on it by the fact that, you do a range of things that are a sort of a mix of I suppose leisure activities, and then also competitions. I know you briefly mentioned, and you didn't blow your own trumpet as much as you should there, but you mentioned the rugby competition, and I wondered whether you might tell us a bit about that, because I know that yourself was part of a team that were in the rugby World Cup there. So I wondered if you might tell us a bit about that.
Absolutely. So, like I mentioned at the very start, Vision Sports is the national governing body for people who are blind and vision impaired to get involved in sport or physical activity or activity of their choice, from recreational to elite level. So for us, if you want to go out for a walk on a Sunday, you want to do a Zoom class on a Thursday morning, or you want to compete in the VR Rugby World Cup or the Tennis World Championships or whatever that is, we want to make sure that we can offer something to everybody for whatever it is that they want to do. So it's not always sports, and sometimes our name of Vision Sports Ireland might sell that a little bit, but for us, we're trying to give an opportunity to anybody. So last year, so 2023, we had the opportunity for our vision impaired rugby squad, so our old Wesley VI team, to represent Ireland in the first ever Vision Impaired Rugby World Cup. I was part of that squad, like you mentioned, Madeline. We very unfortunately lost out to England in the final 3-1, but if you ask me, they did change the time of it, and our best player had to leave because of his flight. So there was definitely a few bits that I won't bring up on today's Zoom that hopefully we'll get them on next time. But yeah, look, for us, it's trying to give people that opportunity, whether it is that they want to go to a Rugby World Cup, they want to be the next Jason Smith and compete in the Paralympics, or they want to go for a leisurely walk or a cycle on a Saturday, a Sunday, or a Monday or a Tuesday, whatever it is someone wants to do. We want to be able to offer people that opportunity to do exactly what they want to, because being active is more than just playing sport, and it's more than being competitive sometimes.
Oh, I think we might have lost sound there on
Yeah,
Sarah.
so yeah, Can you hear me now, Madeline?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so I was just saying at the end of it that basically we just want to give people the opportunity to get active in whatever it is that they want to do, in whatever way they want to be. So whether it's they just want to go out on a Saturday or Sunday for a leisurely cycle, or they want to go and be the next Jason Smith or be in the Rugby World Cup, whatever it is people want and whatever level it is, we want to make sure that we're offering that to people.
Yeah, because it is just so important, isn't it? And I know that, you know, for people who are blind or vision impaired, it just can be more difficult to get out and be active. And I think it's fantastic to have, you know, these opportunities there to make it easier for people to do that. You know, I know in myself, I was very lucky growing up to have the opportunities to partake in sport, and that was just so important. You know, just helps so much with your general fitness and well-being and mental health and all of those things. So I think, you know, to try and encourage anybody to get involved, on whatever level it is. I a few years ago took part in the online courses. I think during COVID was a great way of got us all online with the balance, stretch and movement classes, and I have to say they were amazing. The lady who was running that class did fantastic descriptions of the movements that she wanted you to make, and was very engaged in sort of finding out what worked for people in terms of the wording or descriptions that she was using. So I could really recommend to people, there's no need at all to be nervous about doing those things, because, you know, the people running them are very aware that they need to be telling you, you know, very precisely what they're doing or what they want you to do. So it's brilliant. You mentioned sort of briefly there, I think, you know, the Paralympics, and I wondered, does Vision Sports Ireland have any kind of links with that at all, or is that completely separate?
No, so we work very closely with Paralympics Ireland to try and provide an athlete pathway to people. So like I mentioned, that recreational to elite, we need to make sure that we're offering a pathway to get from A to B. So we have a number of very, very successful athletes in the Paralympics to date. I suppose Jason Smith is probably the number one that comes to people's head, probably because he's dancing around your screens on a Sunday evening at the moment on Dancing with the Stars.
Amazing.
But also, yeah, look, he's the most decorated Paralympian on earth, and the fastest vision impaired person on the planet. But yeah, like it's that making sure that pathway and that opportunity is there. So we meet with Paralympics regularly, and we try and make sure that if there's a young person or someone who's interested in getting involved in that Paralympic pathway, that we can make sure that they get on that journey in the right way to make sure that no one's talent is going unnoticed. So absolutely, there definitely is opportunities there, and people can come to us, or they can come direct to Paralympics. And there's a number of talent identification days called Next Gen Days that take place during the year, and we attend them with Paralympics Ireland to make sure that all our athletes are making the most of the opportunities that are available to people to get on that pathway.
Oh, that's great. I never realised that was the case. So that's brilliant that people can get involved. And I mean, I know, generally it'd be younger the people that would be getting involved at that sort of level, but even us oldies can potentially be involved, I suppose, with more of the sedate sports that are out there. I don't know whether that be golf or whatever. So it's not just, it's not age restricted in any sense.
No, absolutely not. And those the Next Gen Days, we had people as old as 65 and 70 attending them to see if there's something that they may enjoy. So I suppose the age range is never too far, and I suppose if you're willing to put the work in, there's nothing stopping you from getting there if you have the talent to do so. So the Next Gen Days are a great opportunity, and I'm not sure, I don't think they have any dates in the diary just yet for 2024, but I'm sure that they'll do them again for this year, and it's a great opportunity for people to find out a little bit about themselves, and basically you do some testing in it where they tell you what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and kind of help you link in with a club to help you going forward. We've seen with athletes traditionally that the majority of our athletes came in through the mainstream sports system, and kind of by chance or by luck they ended up on the Paralympic pathway, and we've seen that with anyone who may be familiar with Roisin Ní. So Roisin at the moment, and I can probably guarantee over the next one to two Paralympics that she'll definitely be a medal winner. And she came in through the mainstream swimming system, and nobody knew anything about her, and she just kind of appeared, and thankfully she got picked up at a competition by a scout. But if there wasn't opportunities there, which at the time there wasn't really, so it was on us to make sure that those links were stronger and that we had them developed a little more to make sure that people know where they can go to get the information to put themselves on the right path. Only yesterday I had a mother ring us to reach out to say that her daughter's competing in athletics and that she thinks she has some potential to go a little bit further with it, and what we could do for the pathway. So regularly we have people reaching out to see how they can do that and what we can offer people.
Fantastic. That's really great to hear, that the word is spreading, that, about what's available and how people can get involved. One thing I just wanted to kind of ask you a little bit more about was, you mentioned research, and I know that you've been, doing lots of different types of research, but I wondered if you could tell us a bit more about the different projects that you've been doing into. I remember you were asking me questions a while ago about levels of activity and things like that. And I know it was kind of a double project, which was looking at both children and older people. So I wondered if you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really excited over the next couple of weeks and months to be given the full rundown of the research project that we conducted with Dublin City University over the last 2 years, where we've investigated the physical activity levels of children to adults who are blind and vision impaired. We've also done some specific women in sport one as well, which was a much smaller scale in our own office internally here. But from our women in sport one, from the interviewees that we met with, we found that 100% of them actually weren't meeting the National Physical Activity Guidelines, which people are probably shocked about, but that was what came back from it. From our DCU research, we've seen that around 73% of kids aren't meeting it, which is a pretty scary figure considering kids are running around on playgrounds, and sometimes it's a case where kids aren't allowed on the playground, or they might be kind of pushed towards engaging in activity like that. So for us, the research is probably the most important part for the moment, because we can keep running programs and keep running activities, but if we don't have a base behind why we're doing it and how we're doing it, we're only going to end up going around in circles. So for us, we've conducted that PhD research. We've also received funding this year to begin a new PhD research with DCU, which is going to investigate around physical education and the experiences of teachers doing PE with children with a vision impairment, because we want to find out why people aren't being included. If they're not being included, maybe they are. Maybe it's just anecdotal for us that they aren't. Maybe it's just the kids that have reached out to us. We probably do know the answer, but as we know in research, we can't skew the data to the way we want it. So we want to find out, and like I mentioned, research is the most important to us. So if the research tells us to do something, it's our plan to do it.
Oh, that's fantastic. No, it's so important to do that research. And I think it's very interesting. It kind of makes me think, your vision sports awareness training, I think then I imagine is schools an area in which you would do that at the moment very much?
Yes, so at the moment, the main makeup of the people who will come on our vision sports awareness trainings are clubs who want to be more accessible, but also teachers, and particularly in our August, September, and October ones. If we can't, we're out the door running one for teachers. We're also working with the NCBI Labs team around having it available in the e-learning platform in the Vision Academy that they've developed. So in time, we're hoping to open that. The teachers will be able to do it in their own time, because we know that teachers maybe aren't always as quick to jump in online in the evenings. So we want to be able to provide the vision sports awareness training via the e-learning platform as well. So that's something that we're working on. But yeah, teachers and our PE resource that I mentioned, so our PE teaching resource on how to adapt the curriculum for people who are blind and vision impaired, that's also a big piece that falls in with that as well. Yeah,
because I just think that's so important, isn't it? If you can, for the young people, if you can get them active at a young age, that is hopefully going to be something that will stay with you, throughout your life. So I think that's brilliant that we're doing so much of that. And as I say, and then the rest of us as well, when you get older and you get busy and trying to get us enthusiastic again about getting out and taking some activity is really great. So thank you so much, Sarah. It's really brilliant to hear about everything that you're doing, and really do applaud all the work that's happening there. I know you gave us details there about being a member and joining on the website. You gave the phone number that people can contact if they're not very tech savvy, so they can ring in to join, can they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We can do that over the phone.
Fantastic. And then the other thing I just wanted to mention, when you become a member, do you then get access to the newsletter? I know a newsletter comes out once a month.
Yes, exactly. So we have a newsletter that comes out once a month at the moment. It's the 3rd to 4th week. We're not sure if it's going to continue that for 2024, but some week in the month you will receive a rundown from the previous month and things that are coming up for the next month. So our members will receive that. They'll also receive information on the sports that they'll have ticked, if there's something coming up or what's available at the moment. We do them every couple of months, so we do kind of a batch send and an update. But again, all our activities are available and all the pages are updated, that if you're interested in a particular sport, you can go onto that sports page and find out where it's available. We're also hoping and we're working on a number of different things that we can give to members to make them feel a little bit special. So we're working on some kind of member rewards / something to make sure that our members are treated a little bit more special or a little bit differently to our non-members, and to promote people to take the effort to fill out that form. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have some info on that.
Fantastic. That sounds great. Any encouragement we can get, we will happily take.
Absolutely.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. It's great to have all that information from you, and I really do appreciate it. So we'd just like to remind everybody that, as I said at the beginning, you can go on to our YouTube channel to watch us again if you would like, or through our website. So please feel free to do that. And thank you so much for joining us today. And I hope it has inspired you to get out and get active, or even from your living room to join an online class, because it's just so important. It'll definitely make you feel better if you do. I know it does for me. So thank you very much, everyone.